Before the war, Richmond was a town of about 23,000 people. And in 2 years' time, it got to 108,000. People had come in from the South, both black and white, who were marginal in the South economically, and had worked in the shipyards and made fabulous money compared with what they'd made in the South.
During the height of the 100,000 plus population, most of the blacks lived in public housing. It was either Seaport, Pullman, Harbor Gate, Cutting, South 52nd, or Canal. That's where the concentration of blacks were.
You have to remember that during the war, North Richmond, it was the only place in which blacks were allowed to buy property in the city of Richmond.
We was working, making big time money. I think I was making about 95 cents an hour. Then when I graduated from welding school, I got on the job working in the shipyard, working the double bottoms. And I worked there carrying those big 55-pound welding rods. And after we made our first paycheck, I told my friend, I said, I'm gonna buy a home. So I went to the Bank of America downtown and I applied for a loan. They gave me a loan, so I bought the place in North Richmond.
Following the war, blacks anticipated when the shipyards closed, they'd go back to the South. But instead, people said to their relatives, come.
And then everybody just started flocking to North Richmond.
Basically, if you had people coming in from Texas, Louisiana, and Arkansas.
I was told there were whole streets of people that came from one town in Texas and they came to the Bay Area and just settled in one block.
It was pretty much a family thing because we were either related or associated with each other in family groups back in those days.
People lived in a more rural environment than they would in Oakland or Berkeley or Bayview Hunters Point or the Fillmore.
And this little area, which should have been industrial area, across the railroad tracks, had been subdivided in 25-foot lots.
They would grow corn and they would grow greens, and other people would have chickens and rabbits. And they would share their food with one another.
Basically, North Richmond was a black settlement. And you just had everybody doing the best they could with, with what they had because resources were not available to them.
People used to live in trailers, in makeshift housing.
It was like a little Texas.